Hello?
Hey, what's up, Roberto? How's it going, man?
It's going awesome, Pat. How are you?
Good. You want to go on a little car ride?
I'd love to. Can't wait.
All right, I'll get you in a minute, all right?
All right. Take care.
See you soon.
Bye.
All right, so we're picking up Roberto Blake, a good friend of mine who's going huge in the YouTube space right now. And I can't wait to introduce him to you. Actually, he's one of the kindest guys that I've met in the last year, seriously. He's been super helpful, too, so let's go pick him up.
Hey, how's it going?
Good to see you, bud.
Good to see you, man. Always good.
Glad you're here. Come on in.
All right.
We're gonna go on a little joyride here, hang out.
Your car is so dope, man. I'm jealous.
Well, as a creative, I know you appreciate like the small, fine details that Elon put into this thing, right?
110%. You know, Elon Musk is like one of my favorite entrepreneurs.
Me too. He's like my hero.
Yeah, I would definitely say that's probably true for a lot of people, myself included.
I'm so stoked to introduce you to the audience right now because you've inspired me so much lately. But also, you know, it's so interesting. When I learned about you, I didn't know that I apparently had some influence on you and how you got started. Can you get into that story and just, I want to know the full story.
Okay, so yeah, I'm not entirely sure who put me onto your podcast, the Smart Passive Income podcast, but it was definitely a defining moment in my life. And I think it was maybe in, I want to say like, 2014 or so. Mm-hmm. It might have been Amy for all I know. The thing about it is, as an online entrepreneur, one of the biggest, most important things anyone can do is diversify their income and set up passive income streams. And that's a space that you've dominated in and that you had a lot of content around. So I started listening to the podcast, and this is actually, in your case, in around 2014, 2015. That's still early days for you.
Yeah, I mean, I was blogging for about 7 years at that time, but podcasting, I mean, just a few years into it.
Yeah, exactly. So to think about that, and then I read Let Go.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. It resonated with me in so many ways, but it also resonated with me because you are someone who, like me, you got to live your childhood dream as far as a dream job and a career, and then it turned out to not like be something that you wanted to end up doing, you know, completely for the rest of your life anymore. You went into a different direction, but you're still in love with it, but not in the same way. It was the same thing with me and art and design. I did the thing that like every designer would like, you know, love to do. Like, you know, that's their bucket list is I got to be a graphic designer, work at an ad agency in New York. I got to see my stuff on billboards in Times Square.
No way.
I got to see my stuff in Barnes and Noble.
That's awesome.
And yeah, and like even before that stuff happened agency wise, like I got to see my own personal digital art in like Photoshop Creative Magazine and Advanced Photoshop Magazine and like win some competitions. It's like, so to then realize that I was in a situation where the thing that I thought I loved to do and would want to do for the rest of my life as a job, that it wasn't nearly as satisfied as I want, like, and that, you know, the industry isn't always what I thought it would be. I thought it would be more creative people like me and free spirits, and it turned out to be very much not. You know, I mean, it was different. So, you know, your story as another creative person, you know, you coming from an architecture background, you know, that resonated with me.
And now you're this amazing video influencer and creative. You've helped hundreds of thousands of people, including myself. And everybody should definitely go subscribe to your YouTube channel for sure to learn a lot more.
That's super flattering.
And you're getting into podcasting now, which is really cool, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But how did you go from graphic design and web stuff and those kinds of things to video, right? Like, I'm very familiar with video, and, you know, thankfully we got Caleb back there. Say hi, Caleb. He's just, don't worry about him. He's helped me a lot with my video channel, right? And you've inspired me to help me get better at YouTube too. How did you transition from, you know, print, graphic design stuff to video?
Well, for me, it's interesting because I'd actually been doing video before YouTube existed, but I was doing it like just for fun and like as a hobby. I was always a creative person the same way. Like I like the weird thing is that like everyone's doing things and only doing things for like views or attention or money now. Like I spent like 2/3 of my life creating and learning creative skills selfishly to just like keep it for myself. There wasn't social media to share it on. Even with the online stuff, with learning how to web design and do coding as a kid, like you still were hosting like Angel Fire GeoCities and Lycos and like having the little like, you know, visitor counter at the bottom, and like so if like 5 people like saw your stuff, it's a good day. There were no social sharing. Like, I mean, you know, it was like, oh, just like post this like in a chat room in AOL with your like 5 buddies or whatever. Like, so that's where I came from. So perspective wise, I'd already been doing like hardcore sitting in Adobe Premiere like before I even left high school. for years. Like YouTube came out when I was like, what? Like I want to say like 22, 23, something like that. So, whoa! Now that is awesome.
That's
dope. Yeah, you got the perfect timing. I didn't see it coming. But yeah, no. So like, I mean, for me, I'd already been doing photography. Like I said, I hustled with that between graphic design and photography through college, and like, you know, I'd always been doing these creative endeavors. So like, I was doing video editing, and I'd done some like video production because I worked as an apprentice for a wedding photographer and videographer that I met through my church.
So what would you say after all that is your superpower? Why do people come to you for help versus other people?
I think if you're gonna put it down to anything to say what the magic is for me, it's that I had an earnest desire to be authentic, accessible, and approachable, and put out, you know, content and value around the things that I know. And over time, people by their own choice declared me an authority.
I like that. The AAA formula.
Yeah.
Authentic, accessible, and approachable.
Yeah.
I love that. But in terms of YouTube, this is maybe a selfish question. Like, what was the magic formula for you on YouTube specifically? When did you start to see like rapid growth there? Because, you know, I've been working really hard, and we've been coming up with some good content. And, you know, I know for some people the success happens sooner than later. What was the trigger moment for you?
It's actually rooted in something you believe in more than anything, I think. Being future-proof. Being future-proof. The stack of evergreen searchable content for me, things that I knew would always be valuable to people, things that there would always be someone who wanted a different way to learn it, a second opinion to learn it, a lot of the tutorials, a lot of the tech, it adds up. And for me, producing like over 1,000 videos over the last 4 to 5 years, the stack of that content.
So does that mean in order to succeed, I have to have 1,000 videos?
No, that's the thing, is for what I was doing and the way I was doing it. And it's just that it took me personally over 1,000 videos because, first of all, my first 50, I was super awkward on camera, and it's really bad. Like, go back and watch it. It's horrible. My on-camera presence.
This is a common theme for myself and everybody who we've had here. Is just like, go back and watch how terrible we all were.
Yeah, like my on-camera energy and charisma is like horrible. I sacrifice channel growth for my overall mission a bit more. That's a hard pivot for some people to make.
Like what specifically was that?
So I know, based in my YouTube analytics, and I study this all the time, it's why I'm making a course around it, is that there's things where I say, like, do what I'm telling you, but sometimes don't look at what I'm doing because I'm putting myself on hard mode on purpose. And I could get you further if you play this easy mode thing, and it's not even a trick. It's just that, oh, no, there's data, this works. I'm going against the grain of what gets me the most subscribers in favor sometimes of what gets me the most engagement. And I've also pivoted to, there's a message that I have that I want to deliver more on. And it's not necessarily the same thing that's search engine friendly, will get recommendations in the algorithm, or that will even be monetizable nearly as much for me. But it's what I feel I'm called to do.
And you have videos with millions of views, right?
I have a video with 1.2 million views. Collectively on the channel, I have 20 million views. Collectively on the channel, almost at 300K subs. And those are great numbers, and like, that's great and everything like that. But like, when I go to conferences and I see a guy tell me, and he almost brought me to tears, that 6 months ago I asked him, well, what would my content do for you? How did I help you? Because you always wonder whether or not what you're doing is actually making a difference.
Yes, I ask the same thing all the time.
And what happened is, he told me, well, 6 months ago I was unemployed and I was feeling like a loser, and now I have a 6-figure business, and I wouldn't have even tried to take the first step toward that if it wasn't for one of your rant videos, where you were like, it wasn't even like high quality, it was you were on your smartphone and you were practically pleading with me to just try. And so I did. I took my shot and it worked. And I'm like, and so that stuff, like, you know, it gets to me, and it's like, okay, so like, even the things that I think are well produced and what I think might be my best content, or even what the algorithm says is my best content, it doesn't always have the impact that I want in the real world. And so I'm trying to pursue more of impact, even than influence, even than income. I want more of that because I have all the credibility I could need at this point. A gold play button doesn't do that much more for me if I go to 1 million subscribers. The thing that I know grows anyone in YouTube is when they can do focused content in a period of time, and when they can look at their analytics, see what clicks, see what lands, and if they make more stuff like that, the videos that click, if you make more videos that are partners to those videos, they recommend each other, they feed each other traffic, they grow each other. If you can tap into things in your niche that already have massive month-over-month traffic, and you can tap into making a video that would be recommended against that video, then you will get a lot more traffic from that than you would even from SEO and organic. Like, that's actually one of the secrets to some of my videos that have the highest views. But you also have to recognize that videos that have the highest views don't always convert the most subscribers. Sometimes they do. But you have to look in your analytics and see that I had 2 videos that did 500,000 views, Pat. Like, I had a Microsoft Surface product review, and I had 5 ways to make passive income online, or was it 5 businesses you could start from home? One of those. And I compared them. They both had like 500,000 views, the same amount of watch time. Every metric was the same, except one of them got me 2,200 new subscribers, and one only got me 550 new subscribers.
Cool. You want to continue this conversation over coffee?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's do it. You know what's exciting about this? Like, so you've built this successful YouTube brand, and now you're going to collect a number of subscribers into your podcast now. And on YouTube, as I've learned from you and many others, watch time is key, right?
Yep.
And I'm keeping track of my analytics, and I'm bummed out as a podcaster going into YouTube that my watch time is at like 60%.
It's not. Your average watch time's at 60%. Averages are liars.
Are they? Tell me more.
If you were a kid in school and you were crushing it and you got an A on 4 tests, and then you got sick, you miss a test, you can't do the makeup, you look like a C student, because the average of now 4 100s and 1 0 is an 80. And you look like a C student, your average is a liar, because you have top tier A++ status.
But does that not play a role in the algorithm? Because now my average videos...
Only up to a point. Because here's the thing, you're getting 60% average retention.
For like 15 to 20 minute videos, which I know is,
by the way,
quite good. Right?
It's better than you think. You know what the average is across the board for most YouTubers? Between 20 and 30%, regardless.
Really?
Regardless of length of video, 20 to 30%, you're at double.
That's good. That's a good thing.
Your average overall watch time in minutes averages out to what?
I think it's 5:30.
Average for most YouTube creators, 2 minutes to 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Across the board.
So I'm doing okay.
Your audience is probably more like mine, which means that maybe like a small fraction of your audience, I would imagine less than 5% of your audience is teenagers, and the majority of it is people 22 to 54, not unlike myself.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly that.
So yeah, and I didn't even see your data.
You just know.
I've been in this a while. The problem with measuring traditional YouTube success is the biggest people in YouTube garner the biggest audience in YouTube of people that are 13 to 17, which, while we would love to help some of those people, they're not ready for what we particularly offer.
True. I mean, people like PewDiePie and DanTDM and the people who my kids watch. And
Yeah,
stuff.
like
my son doesn't watch PewDiePie, by the way. I just know of him.
Yeah.
But DanTDM, 18 million subscribers he just got, and that's his target audience is 12 to 18 gamers.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that demo has the most disposable watch time. Like our peers and the people who want our content,
They're
podcasting is great because they can do it while they're busy. They're busy. But when they need to execute on something, if our content helps them in the execution or helps them save time or save money or make money or buy back their time, they'll commit to that as long as they still feel like we're respecting their time and delivering on the goods. And if they know us, then they know that. If they're new, we need gateway content to get them in.
Right. Plus, our demographic has money to spend on things that can help them.
Exactly. So even with a small audience in our demographic, valuable from a different perspective, not on AdSense revenue, but in affiliate and in direct product sales.
Now, what's really exciting about you is now you're getting into podcasting. The average, at least across my shows, and we have very similar personalities, and from what I've heard from others, average listen time is 90, 80% of a show for typically much longer form content.
I'm seeing that now that Apple is kind of like releasing some of that information.
Yeah.
I'm seeing
Isn't that exciting?
Oh, so excited.
Unlike YouTube, where there's a person who's absorbing content and then there's suggested videos, there's ads, there's all this distraction, right? With a podcast, the magic moment is when a person listens to your show and they decide, yes, I'm going to listen to this, and they put that phone in their pocket. That's why you're getting 90%, 100% completion rates on episodes.
Sometimes even more because of they go back,
repeat
and the repeats,
and they listen again. And I've had many people say, I'm going to go back and listen to that because I've been taking notes like crazy and I missed a few things.
Yeah. Do you know what's the interesting thing is I have not hardcore marketed or promoted my podcast yet to my YouTube audience. I've almost been secretive a little bit about it. I put it out more to my Twitter and to my Facebook and even my Instagram followers where I have much smaller audiences because I wanted to see, even in the very beginning, I'm gonna start going the other way now because now I'm like, okay, it's solid and we've got like some great guests, like, you know, you've been invited to come on. Like, I feel like now that I have the new branding in season 2 with the help of Mike and Isabel, and now that I have a much more polished and consistent format, now that I'm more comfortable at, now that the audio quality is better, like I really feel comfortable to push that to my YouTube audience because they have an expectation of quality of me from video that I wanted to feel I'm at that level with the podcast. And I got there a lot faster than I did with YouTube.
Yeah. And then to finish off, I'm curious, now that you have a podcast and YouTube, how are you using them both together? How are they cross-promoting each other? This is something I know I need help on because I've just gotten into YouTube, and I mean, you even pointed it out while we were getting coffee that like I'm not doing the best that I can to promote my YouTube channel and my podcast and vice versa.
So with you, I think because you already have notoriety in the podcast world, and you're bigger in YouTube than you realize. You like there's numbers in YouTube that skew the perspective of people, especially, you know, people in our space. But like I know some data that puts that into perspective, and I'll get to that later. But like the thing with you is because you have a great team and you already have such great video production values, there are ways for you to do some of your solo podcast episodes as a video episode on your YouTube channel that also goes for the audio for your podcast when you do the solo stuff versus your interviews.
So actually filming and producing while recording the podcast episode.
Yeah,
okay.
Like almost live to tape.
So that's like some choreography involved.
Yeah, a little bit. But the thing is, you have a great team. You have strong production values. You have you have a studio space dedicated to this. So for you, it'd be killer. And I think that it could be amazing and it'll be something different. And the thing is, it's not an everyday kind of thing. It's doing just enough of it so that that audience that might be coming to you for something on your YouTube channel who's not familiar with the fact that you're also a podcaster, because the irony is that they're different audiences sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
And so those new people that like are subscribed to your YouTube channel, when they see that there's an episode of your podcast on your YouTube channel, and they're like, Pat has a podcast?
Right.
And then all of a sudden, and vice versa, if there's something that is like, I would love to see what the live to tape experience was of Pat's podcast and see him just like in the studio doing this and everything like that, see, you know, Pat getting excited, like that could be intriguing for your podcast audience who will take the time to watch that YouTube video, and then when they see the inventory of all the great content you've done on YouTube that's video specific, that means that when they have the time, they will watch.
I gotta get it going.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited.
You'll be fine overall, but like in the algorithm, YouTube doesn't like you taking traffic off of YouTube. I've actually learned that all social media platforms are pretty much the same. They're stingy. They want you to stay with them.
Right.
Facebook especially. But the thing is, just from a user behavior standpoint, I think smaller YouTubers, or even sometimes middle-sized YouTubers like you and me, they worry about it too much because you and I both know that click-through rates in general are the lowest percentage out of your audience. It's usually like, you know, if it's 2%, you're a hero. If it's 5%, that's shocking. That's not enough in the algorithm for anything to punish you in terms of dead sessions, not going to another video.
Yeah.
So growing YouTube is about keeping people on YouTube and getting them to watch another 2 or 3 videos, or
And
watch.
they would do that if it's related content.
If it's
right?
related content. So if you use the YouTube channel to drive traffic to the podcast, if there's not enough other content that you've set up in advance to keep people on YouTube, that could punish you. I have so much content that was keep people on YouTube specifically, like designed to do that, that I can do almost anything I want at this point and not suffer for it. And then because at this point, weirdly, I'm not trying to grow like as much as a lot of other people, or even that you could argue that I was at one point. You know, I'm not focused on growth. I've never been fully focused on growth, but I was doing things that I knew could grow me and then just tracking the results. I've never for a 30 to 90 day period exclusively ran my channel in a way that would grow my channel. If I did, in that period, it could blow up. And for you, if you wanted to go big in YouTube, if you did 30 days of focus based on your analytics of what has successfully gotten you subscribers and views in the last 30 or 90 days and doubled down on a content strategy that does that.
Like points back to the older videos and the older videos point to the new ones.
Well, some of that, but then also just looking at in the last 30, 90 days, what got the most performance? What was driven by search? What was driven by suggested? Like, you know, what videos did the best in watch time, engagement, and you started to really formulate a strategy around that and attack it for a 30 to 90 day cycle. Like, you would see a massive shift in your growth on the back of that 30 to 90 day cycle, and you could rinse and repeat here. The problem with that is...
You listening to this, Caleb? Okay, because we're gonna execute on some of this stuff.
The problem with that is, and there's ways to look for this too, and I'll help you with this, but like the problem with this is sometimes that can contradict other goals you have. Like, there's things you know you could do that would drive sales, and you have this attention, you might want to do that, but then it takes people off the platform, it kills your sessions. You know, as somebody who did Google SEO, that like session time, which they don't show you in YouTube analytics, but you remember it from Google. It's there in the back end. We just don't get to see it, but it's there. And they've come out and said like, oh yeah, this is a big deal. Keep people on the platform, blah, blah, blah. Watch time is just what we used to call time on site, time on page.
Yeah.
That's what watch time and retention is. So it's just like getting people to watch multiple videos in playlists. That's like, you know, what we used to call page depth in the Google days,
Yep.
you know, like depth of page visit. So it's the same stuff.
It's the same company.
Yeah, it's the same company. So like, that's why, like, I used to be Google AdWords certified. Like, even with the, like, certain things I reverse engineered knowing how like advertisers spend, like my ad rates are pretty good as a result of that for the AdSense stuff. Like, again, like if I wanted to scale back, you know, oh, can you make a living on AdSense even with like 500,000 views and this many subscribers without being a million sub channel, without millions of views a month? It's like, yeah, if you know how to play the game. I don't play against other YouTubers, I play against the rule book.
Yeah. Cool, man. So to finish off, and thank you for all that, by the way, but to finish off, I noticed on your wrist, you have there on your right hand, it says own it.
Yep, own it.
Tell me what that means.
So that's from my friend Gerard Adams, Founders, tremendous entrepreneur, former co-founder of Elite Daily, which he sold for like a substantial amount of money back in the day. And so owning it, to me, I think it's different for everybody. But in me, it's part of that whole entrepreneur journey I told you about. It's like, it's taking responsibility, it's taking ownership over your life. I believe in one of my messages is being a champion in your own life. For me, it was that I recognized that no one was going to save me. I needed to be an active champion in my own life. I needed to realize I had a choice in how I live every day. I have a choice in taking ownership of my work or letting other people do that. I had a choice in taking ownership of my narrative, my personal brand, my life story. I could write it, or I could just react to the world and let the world dictate it for me. Let the world tell me who I am. And I decided I was gonna own it.
I'm glad you're owning it because you're helping a lot of people, including myself. But
thanks so much for that, buddy.
Roberto, thanks, man. Make sure you check him out on his YouTube channel and also his podcast, and we'll put all the links. We'll put all the links below, like we always do, right?
Link it up in the info card.
In the info card, yes, thank you. Info card, probably the end screen.
Yep. That's
right?
Another,
I know the language now.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, you're getting there.
Thanks, my man. I appreciate you taking the time.
Always.